Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, and welcome to sort of the final introductory video for PHP. I'll probably come back and do some more advanced stuff in PHP. I do have a playlist where I started working with Laravel, so you can just search that around in my YouTube channel. But basically, I always like to cover sort of the basics that you should know for any language. So basically, functions, data types, control flow, ifs, loops, and classes, which is what we're going to cover today. And there's a lot more to PHP, a lot more. So there's a lot of fun to go dig around in those documents. It's a very powerful, very robust language, especially since it mainly handles server-side internet stuff. It doesn't really do, it's not used for desktop applications. It's not used for mobile applications, but who knows? Maybe they start broadening where the language can do stuff. But when it comes to web stuff, which is more and more of what we do every day, this is just it's a pretty solid language. And again, I haven't even really gone into the templating aspects of PHP, where you can use it to template out your HTML files and make and really do some really easy templating relative to what you'd have to do in other languages as far as setting up your templating. Cool. But with that, let's do some classes. So why do classes matter? Classes just allow you to define custom objects or custom defined types that have certain data, certain functions all in them. So always the easiest example is to create a dog. So class dog. Okay, and then we have to specify properties and methods of a dog. Properties are sort of the variables that a dog has. Methods are the things that a dog can do, functions. And generally you always want to specify whether it's public or private. So I'm going to specify this variable is public. Okay, and that's going to be the dog's name. Okay, then we're also going to have private will be the dog's number of legs. Okay, and then we will have protected the dog's ears, just to show you sort of the difference between these three terms as we go through. So those are sort of three variables that this dog has. Now, right now I never set them. So generally I'm going to want to set those when this dog gets created. So I need to create a function, okay, which is going to be called construct. Okay, so function, so basically it's going to be so this is going to be a public function, and it's going to be called, it's a function, it's going to be called construct. It has to be called construct. That's sort of the standard convention here. And what happens is that this is what's called a constructor. There's also a version called destruct that happens when the thing gets destroyed. But these are one-time functions. This function gets run when a individual dog gets created. Okay? While a destructor gets run whenever a dog gets destroyed. Okay? So let's see here. But I want to be able to pass in name, legs, ears. Okay, and then I need to trying to prevent the collision here. Okay, I think okay, so here's what's gonna happen. First is going to be self, and then we have to choose a property of self, and self is self.name. Well, I think it's self dot name. Okay, there we go. So this is what I was looking for. Not self, but this. Okay, so this self should be referring to the class as a static class, not as an individual instance. So this dot name, but not dot name, it's going to be arrow name. And that's why you don't need a second dollar sign, because you already have the dollar sign here. So it's really a property of this, which these are the properties of this right here. And again, we're going to say that this equals the name that gets passed in. And then we'll say this particular notation I hate, but it is what it is, equals legs. Okay, and then this ears equals the ears that gets passed in. So technically these ears, legs, name are referring to this name, ears, legs. This ears, this legs, this name is referring to the three properties that we declared up here. Okay, just so we can understand what's going on. So I'll leave it at that for now. We're not going to create any other methods for the moment. So now we'll create a new dog. So we'll say Sparky equals a new dog. And again, the constructor is treated as a function. So whenever you create a new dog, you do this. If there's no constructor defined, then you don't need to put anything in here. But in this case, I do need name, legs, ears. Okay, so I want name Sparky. I want 4 legs and 2 ears. Okay, so that's going to create the dog, and that dog is now saved in the variable called Sparky. So now I should be able to do this. I should be able to echo Sparky, and I want to echo Sparky's name. So we'll do name first. Put a semicolon. Okay, so then, and then I think I need a little arrowhead. There we go. Okay, and that'll echo Sparky's name. So that's how I access the properties of the object. So I created a new object as of the dog type and saved it in the variable Sparky, and I can access these properties. Well, at least, let's see here. I can access name. Whether it was syntax error, echo. Oh, that I forgot to put a semicolon here. Okay. And there's see Sparky. Okay, so see it echoed Sparky's name. Now if I try to echo legs, let's see what happens. See, it throws an error. You cannot access a private property. Anything that's private or protected, so if we try ears, I should get the same error. See, and I can't access a protected property. The idea is that you can't directly access anything that's protected or private from outside the definition of the class. Okay? So I can use them in here where the class is being defined, but outside of that I can't. Okay, so what if I do want to get the ears? And I might want to go create a function that helps me see all that information or sets that information. I have to create functions to deal with it because I can't directly access it. And the reason why you would want to do that is you want to control how people use it. So you say, hey, the only way you can change this is through my function, and my function will only let you change it in certain ways. You can make sure that no one like cheats and tries to change the parameters into something that isn't what you intended. Okay, I'm not going to be able to give like a dog like 50 ears. Okay, so let's see here. Let's just create a basic function. So let's say public, and then again, same thing applies to functions as far as public, private, protected. If I made any of these functions protected or private, they would not be usable outside. Public function, and this will just be called, inspect. So we can inspect the dog. Inspect. Okay, and okay. And basically all we're going to do here is echo this legs. Okay, and then we're going to make sure we include a new line, so that way it's all looks fine. And let's just copy and paste that for the make this name ears. Okay, and see, I'm able to access these properties because, again, I'm defining them inside of a function. I can refer to them inside these curly brackets, so that's fine. and this function is defined inside those curly brackets. So now I can do this. I could do Sparky. Okay, and I think it would still just be inspect. Okay, and there we go. So whenever I'm using the arrow, it's an instance. I'm accessing that individual dog's method or property. Okay, so I hit save, we run it. Class dog cannot be converted to a string. Let me think here. Object of class dog cannot be converted to a string. Which line are we talking about? 24. Oh, because you can't echo the whole dog, so get rid of that. What I could do is I could do var dump. I could var dump Sparky. This is where var dump becomes more useful. And whenever you're dealing with like complex pieces of data. So let me put that there just so you can see that you can do that. So you see there, when I var dump Sparky, I get all the information about Sparky. Okay, and then here we can see that the function worked. For the number of legs, Sparky the name, 2. Now where's that arrow coming from, or that'll and just see there. Meh. Okay. But see, that works. Now nothing you can do is you can create static functions and static methods. Okay, so it would be something like, and what a public or static method is, it's not a function that can be used or a property that's on the individual dog, but on the idea of dogs. Okay, so what I might want to do is that every time we make a dog, we have a property called dog count. Okay, and we're going to say that this plus equals 1, which just means takes whatever it is currently and adds a 1 to it. Okay, and why is it complaining? Pop there just a second. Undefined variable self. Okay. I'm not able to do that there. We'll come back to that. Here's the Control Z. See, the difference is when you're talking about a static or a property of the class, that's when you use this instead. Okay, and I need to declare that variable first. So we're going to go over here and say public. Actually, we want this to, we'll say it's protected. We'll say it's private. Private static dog count. Okay, and then semicolon. So is a and then that's this property here. Why is it complaining now? Variable self. Okay, so when we're referring to this, actually you don't need the $sign. So self can just be self, and we need the $sign on dog count. There we go. Okay, so self again refers to the class. So we're saying the class has a property called dog count that we're going to add 1 to every time we create a new dog. So now I want to actually have an ability to see what that dog count is, because I can't access this because I declared it as a private property. So I need some sort of getter function. So we'll make a public function. Public function dogs. I want to see how many dogs there are. Okay. And all this will do is echo self dog count. Okay, and that's what that will do. So we can see how many dogs there are. Well, let me chain a new line after it. Doot dot new line. So that way it looks pretty. Let's make a few dogs. So let me copy and paste this. Okay, so we're gonna have Spot. Will be named Spot. We're gonna have Rover, whose name is Rover. They all have 4 legs and 2 ears. Okay, so we inspected Sparky, but now I want to take a look at all the dogs. So now what I will do, it's dog, and then dogs. Okay, because dog is the class, and dogs is the static method. And did I make that? No, I didn't make this static. That's why it's... There we go, public static function. There we go. So let's save, and let's give that a shot. And you see, we got 3. That's the number of dogs we created. So if we can create Sparky, it added 1, because it's a class-wide property. So that dog count doesn't belong to Sparky. It belongs to the dog class, so it persists between each dog. All the dogs share that property. They can all access it. Cool. So now you understand static properties and methods. And right now we still haven't really kind of illustrated what's the difference between protected and private. Basically the difference is we have to get into inheritance. So what if I want to define a small dog? Okay, which should be something like this. Class small dog extends dog. Okay, so that's a new class. Okay. So what this does, it copies everything that already exists in dog, and now I can add something to it. Okay. So I can be like, I'll just create a new method just called hop into purse, because I don't know why I've been just doing small dogs hopping into purses in the last few videos, but we'll do that. So public function purse hop. Okay. And let's see here, which one's protected? Ears. Okay. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to echo this ears. Okay. I'm going to put a new line on that. And then I am going to echo this the name because I can. Okay, and I'm going to just leave those 2. Okay, and then we're going to say echo dog hops into purse. Okay, and put a new line. Semicolon. Cool. Now let's make one of these a small dog. So we'll make Rover a small dog, even though it doesn't sound like a small dog. Small dog. So now Rover's a small dog. So now we'll see if Rover can go purse hop. Okay, now if I run the code, we console log Rover's ears and Rover's name. And the reason I can access those properties, because again, I said that protected and private hide it. It does, it hides it from outside, but protected doesn't hide it from inherited classes. So any class that extends dog still has access to the protected private, but not the private. Private stays strictly inside that class's definition. Cannot go into its inheritance. So if I try to add, trying to get to the legs, I should get an error. So if I add legs to this, this won't work for me. Okay, you can kind of see that that's giving me that error. See, member has private access. So when I use it, I'm going to get that error saying, hey, you can't undefined property small dog legs. Okay, and the reason being is that technically this is not visible to this class because it's private. So that's the difference between private and protected. So both of them, protected and private, both hide from the outside scope, but protected at least allows inherited classes to be able to see those properties and methods. So this is that was a pretty heavy dose of classes in PHP. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. There's still a lot more. Classes are a big deal, but this should get you started. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Have a great day and enjoy.